Hi, welcome to week 47 of Foundation 52. Week 47 is all about growth strategies. So are weeks 48 and 49. We've got a lot of ground to cover on growth strategies. It's a really big part of taking your small business to the next level, and it requires a lot of information and work. And it's one that we get the most questions on as a consulting company. People want to know the most about growth strategies. So that's why we have 3 weeks covering it. First, we're going to talk about what is a growth strategy. Then, how do you know when you're ready for a growth strategy? And finally, what areas of your business should you be looking at when you're considering or undertaking a growth strategy? All of that in week 47. We covered different elements in weeks 48 and 49. So, what is a growth strategy? A growth strategy is a strategic approach to growing your business revenues that's based on a very specific and intentional plan. How do you know when you're ready for a growth strategy? Well, if you're looking to double your revenue or more, you're ready for a growth strategy. And frankly, you probably need it. So a lot of times, business owners are like, I want to do this. I want to get really big, or I want to hire more employees, or I want to serve more clients, or want to sell more product, whatever that is. If it's a significant growth from where you are today, you need a growth strategy. You don't just want to kind of wing it on a growth strategy. You really want a very deliberate plan so that you can be successful. And growth strategies, guess what? They're all about having a very strong foundation for your business. So the first thing that we talk about when we are working with a client on a growth strategy is looking at their business foundation. We look at their core values, their value proposition, their brand identity. We also look at their mission statement. We want to understand everything they have in place there, who their business is, and if they're actually working according to what those stated items are. So are they upholding their core values? Do they really live it? Do they breathe it? Is their mission statement right on? Is their value prop right on? Are they marketing? Is their brand strategy in alignment with how they market to their customers? This is important because when you're growing, you want to have that foundation in place so that it becomes easier for you to actually execute on the growth strategy. So we start with the foundation. And if we need to rebuild or retool something, that's where we do that. We do that right at the very beginning. Then we start to look at hiring, because generally, if you're going to 2x, 5x, 10x your business, you're probably going to need more people. It's unlikely as a small business owner that you've got people just hanging around doing nothing. So we now look at job descriptions. We look at career path. We look at the employees that you have. We look at your org chart. We look at how can we attract more talent. You want to be constantly top grading your team. And that's what we start to focus on with the foundational piece of growth strategies. The next piece that we always look at is we do a SWOT analysis, right? So we want to understand your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We've covered this already as part of Foundation 52. But you really want to do a SWOT analysis so you understand, like, where do you have the opportunities and where are you strong? Because that's the easiest way to grow, is to look at those two things, but also what threats are coming your way. And where do you have weaknesses that if you started to improve those weaknesses or at least address them and sort of protect yourself against them, what could that do for your growth? Then we start to look at every single functional area, right? And we look at marketing, we look at sales, we look at your processes. And, Corey is just sitting someplace smiling right now as we're talking about process on my video. But we want to understand what processes you have in place, where we can improve those processes and make you more efficient. Are you coming out with a new product or a new service? Because if you are, we're going to build processes around that. We really, really want to understand everything that's happening, who's doing the work, and how that work is getting done, because all of that leads into being able to grow your business. Obviously, we look at the financials, and we take a very strong look at your tools, the technology that you're using. Do you have tools in place that you're not actually using? Are you paying for something and it's just sitting there, or are you paying for something and you're just not using it to the potential that you can? A lot of times we see small business owners that have bought stuff and they forgot they have it. So we kind of go through all of those things. The growth strategy is a really fun process. It can be overwhelming at first because you're really taking the business owner from working in their business to working on their business, and it can be a lot of work. It's a heavy lift at first, but it is very much worth it. Stay tuned. Tune back in next week, week 48, when we talk more about growth strategies, and go ahead and check out the PDFs for information. And as always, if you've got questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Growth strategies are one of the areas where that's our expertise. It's what we help people with most frequently. So if you're looking for some help, reach out. We've got your back. I promise.